This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
If he wasn't lapping baby, we'd still be Rod Mercedes. Bro gang, we are joined by the governor of the grid, the prince of the podium, Toto. We're not in the Kansas Grand Prix anymore. The overlord of the overtake, too blessed to be DRS stressed. The tires are soft, but the fits are hard. Storming around the turns, it's Hurricane George, the Baron of the Bends. He drives F1, but doesn't give one F. The track records setting track records. The Grand Prix Grand G, the Belstaff Big Dog, Formula One driver for Mercedes, George Russell. George, how the hell are you?
Mr. Saturday in the building. What's up, George?
It's some entrance. I got to say, that's the first time I've ever had an entrance like that, but I like it.
You're welcome.
Was that more
dude.
exciting than the grid, like starting a race?
To be honest, it got me pumped up. I feel like maybe I need you on the radio before the grid.
Toto,
George,
clear the airwaves, Toto. I'm coming in with an intro.
Yeah, George, the first thing we want to do is a quick little fit check where you're going to walk the audience at home through everything you're wearing today. Does Mr. Saturday want to start top down or bottom up? Is the question for you.
Down or bottom up? Oh, yeah. Top down, I guess. No.
Okay. All right,
baby.
All right. What do we got up top?
I mean, we're full Belstaff with
Yes,
just
sir.
a classic navy jumper and some cargo pants. I'll give you a little view of this.
Okay.
Beige, and then I actually don't have any shoes on, so
No shoes. What are the socks?
So no, I've just got some plain white socks on as well.
Okay.
So, classic.
Absolutely.
Toe, you love to
Classic man. Oh, and then we got to ask, what are the panties? What's the underwear today, George?
I don't have any of them on. No, I do. I do.
More aerodynamic that way.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to save every last gram,
Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah.
George, I mean, we're super stoked to be podding with you. You're our first F1 driver, and obviously, F1 fever is going crazy in America right now. What do you think of the newfound fandom for the sport in America?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's I was in Austin in 2017 was my first year, and it was already a cool atmosphere. And Austin as a city was insane, and I absolutely loved it. But going back there last year, 2021, 400,000 fans there. It was just chaos. And, the whole city was so pumped up. They were all feeling Formula One. Obviously, Miami this year was crazy.
Fucking movie.
I just walked through my garage and I'm like, there's Michael Jordan. And I'm like, oh, there's Michelle Obama. Oh, there's Tom Brady. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, it's DJ Khaled. So it's
the DJ Khaled grid walk is pretty legendary.
Yeah, I like that. I know. We're here in Miami. I like that. Yeah. I've watched that a few times.
From Mr. Saturday to Mr. 305, word to Pitbull,
Absolutely. So it's I feel so fortunate and grateful to be in Formula One at this time because it's absolutely booming and it doesn't seem to be slowing down either. We're in Vegas next year. It's growing. We're as a sport is so kind of worldwide and 3 races in the US.
Yeah.
And maybe 4 in the future as well. There's talks in New York. It's that'd be insane.
Do you think do you think is better drivers on the road, F1 drivers or New York City cab drivers?
I mean, I've never been to New York City, so I won't talk them down. I'm sure they're pretty capable.
Yeah. Of all those celebs that you kind of just mentioned there, George, who is the most surprising one that maybe was I'm a fan or I watch or I'm obsessed with Drive to Survive on Netflix? What was one that really surprised you?
I'd probably say Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a really nice chat with her. She's such a fan and been following the sport for a long time now. And I don't know, it just caught me by surprise. So it seems everybody's into it. Just when I was talking with Michael Jordan as well, he loves it and he's watching, and Tom Brady follows it a lot. And we was talking a little bit after the race, and just everybody's just really feeling the sport and loving that kind of dynamic on Netflix and the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
obviously it's quite dramatized, and
for sure.
For me, I've actually only watched about 4 episodes of Drive to Survive because
that's a lot. It's not just one, you watch 4.
I struggle a little bit because let's say the characters, we're all kind of perceived as characters, come across a little bit different to how it is in reality, but that's how it is. And it's, if people love it, I love it. So all good.
You're just trying to drive, baby. Well, I think like Drive to Survive, like that was a lot of people's introduction in this country to the sport. And, now with a few seasons under the belt, like we've all learned like our favorite drivers, we've all learned like the terminology and the slang and just how crazy it is. But like, besides careening around hairpin turns, gunning it to over like 200 miles an hour and the, fiery crashes, for like the non-gearheads listening, what's the hardest part of your job that people might not even be aware of?
I'd probably say the travel, to be honest. I think it's, seriously, it's something that even myself, when I was growing up watching Formula One, you turn the TV on, you see they're in Japan, then they're in America, then they're in Australia and Singapore, and you don't really appreciate the travel that goes into going to these places. And not just for travel, we go to 22 different countries. We stay in 22 different hotel rooms. Every single country we go to is different culture of food, trying to get a nice healthy meal in the US is different to the UK.
Well, yeah, especially in the US. It's hard to eat healthy here for sure.
Yeah.
So when we go to China and Japan or Singapore, it's just a totally different culture there. And I think, we're trying to be, the best athletes in the world and the best Formula One drivers in the world. But when you've got so much change, it's difficult to be on your A game every single race and every single moment. And, next race for us is Singapore. It's 14-hour flight. But then directly the week after, we're going to Japan, which is another 8-hour flight. And there's going to be effectively an 8-hour time zone difference because the race in Singapore is at night and the race in Japan is quite early in the day. So, to make that 8-hour shift.
Oh, yeah.
Just in a couple of days and be ready and be performing.
Yeah. And like, what if you what if you bring the wrong converter for your iPhone charger? Like,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Thank God they got McDonald's in every country or else, I don't know, that might be tough for you, but we can empathize. I mean, it's 7:30 a.m. in New York right now. We're just potting to survive. So like, we totally get it, dude.
So your journey up into F1 and into like your current team, I think was well documented and was a big storyline on the show that people loved. Did you get yourself an attaboy gift when you got called up from F2 to F1?
No, not really, to be honest. Not really. It's
you owe yourself it then.
Yeah, come on, man.
I don't know. I'm still climbing my ladder. I'm still on my journey, and I'm not. True. I don't look at this as success or as life completed because I've made it to Formula One. No, I'm here to be a world champion. I'm here to win races. I'm here to fight every week. And even then, to be honest, it's you keep going. It's relentless. If you win one race in F1, you want to win two. You win two, and you want to win them all. And you're never satisfied. You always want more. You're always chasing more. And I think that's the beauty of Formula One. That's the beauty of sport. But I'll treat myself one day. But for now, eyes on the prize.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll be looking forward to you like flexing a new watch or a new
maybe like you just buy out the entire Belstaff store.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a nice watch on at the moment and some nice Belstaff clothing on. So
what's the we missed that in the fit check. What's the timepiece today, George?
It's an IWC. Got an annual calendar. So they don't actually make these anymore, and I managed to get my hands on one of these before they went out of production. So quite classy. It kind of matches the Belstaff
for sure.
Kind of the British look. It's I like it.
I knew we were going to get you to flex just one time on this podcast. There you go. That one is for the fans at home, baby.
We talked about how it's a constant. I mean, obviously it's a marathon, right? You can win one race, you can place well, but like it's the whole season, it's the whole career trajectory. In 2022, you are putting together a super strong season, podium after podium. Has the success though almost like ratcheted up the pressure as you become like more conceivably the future of the sport as the sport is growing in popularity and visibility?
I mean, I think pressure is something that you kind of put on yourself, and there's a lot of scrutiny, on drivers or people in the limelight, and just depends how you take it. I think for me, I'm in this because I want to be a world champion, and I'm doing this for everybody who supported me throughout my journey. And there's no pressure from that. I go to every single race to do my best. I'm as prepared as possible. And I think if you go there with that sort of mentality, thinking I've done everything I possibly can to achieve a good result this weekend, there's no more pressure. It will be what it will be. And just the helmet's on, and all of that pressure sort of fades away, and you're so focused and in that zone.
So your mentality hasn't changed since like day one. You're locked in regardless of like, again, how well you're doing in the current season or whatever.
For me, every moment in my career is like the biggest and most important moment of my career. So when I raced in Formula 4, which is the small version of an F1 car, of what you do as a 15, 16-year-old, for me, that was the biggest moment of my career. I had to win that if I wanted to get into Formula 3. Then I'm in Formula 3. Right, this is the biggest moment of my career. I need to win Formula 3 if I want to get to Formula 2.
Right.
You're in Formula 2. Right, I need to win this now if I want to get to Formula 1. So every single moment was, that pressure was always there, because that was the biggest moment. And then when I was with the Williams team in my early years in Formula 1, right, I need to perform with Williams. I need to do my best job to get this opportunity with Mercedes to then fight for championship. So it's never ending, and that's just going to continue to the moment I stop. And that's why for me, there's no additional pressure or that stress, that challenge is always going to be there.
I want to ask you a pressure-filled question right now. If Lawrence and I got in, let's just say like our car that we're driving in our daily lives, if we drove one lap on a track, how many times could you lap us in that one lap that we're going? This is big pressure. This is the biggest moment.
Assume we're in a Toyota Camry.
Okay. And I'm in the same car, or I'm in an F1 car?
No, you're in the F1. You're in the F1.
Oh,
you're in
the same car, I'd hope I'd lap you at least once in the same car. But in the F1 car, definitely a couple of times. So let's give it a go.
All right.
Speaking of competition,
we'll meet you in Austin.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, come on over.
George, speaking of competition, if you had to personally build a podium of the best dressed guys in F1, who are the 3 dudes that you would put up there?
Including myself or not including myself?
I mean, if you think you deserve it, if you think you're a contender,
yeah.
I mean, I always get asked, who's the best driver in Formula 1 and where would you rank yourself? And I'm like, I don't want to put myself there, guys. It's too arrogant. So, I mean, I'll just say I think I'm deserving of a podium spot, but I won't put myself there for the sake of this. But I think, Gasly's a pretty stylish guy.
Yeah.
He's always, he's French. He's got that look. He's got a bit of facial hair.
A little je ne sais quoi, if you will.
With it.
He's always looking pretty good. And then obviously Lewis is rocking his style every single weekend. So he's got to be there. They're probably the 2 who are on the, probably not somebody like Sebastian Vettel. I love Sebastian, but he's not he's rocking a headband at the moment, which isn't. He knows it as well. He knows it, but I respect it.
Who's the Ferrari race director? What about that guy with the little glasses?
Mattia Bonosso. Yeah. I mean, the Italians are always pretty stylish, aren't they?
For sure.
Yeah, I say Charles. He's
okay.
He'll be up there. So they're probably the 3.
All right. How do you describe your personal style? I mean, it's very clearly you're rocking a fucking fire fit today, but just generally speaking, how would you describe it?
I'd say quite, classy British kind of look. David Beckham being the kind of, he takes it to another level. And I'm far from a David Beckham look at the moment, but
I don't ever see you getting cornrows. That doesn't seem like necessarily your swag.
But it's no, I like the kind of bit understated, classy, smart, but also a bit casual. I think also for me, like with Belstaff, it's that perfect mix of a bit of everything. You can rock that smart look if you need to, but equally it can go a bit casual as well. So that's me.
And I think like when we think of Belstaff has got to be up there with the best British brands of all time.
Without a doubt.
You guys recently partnered up. Do you have a specific favorite Belstaff piece?
For me, it's a Trial Master. It's the
sure.
It's the classic. It's the classic.
It's the F1 of jackets, bro. Let's be real.
It really is. It's what I wore all winter. I was up in Scotland as well with my family, and that was just had to be done.
Yeah.
Trial Master was.
We saw you getting flicks off with your girl, dude, looking fucking classy, like a goddamn like a catalog photo,
The Trial Master jacket, like it has like it's the belted jacket. It's got like the big oversized pockets for them.
Pads, yeah.
And like I think that Belstaff is trying to tap into its heritage right now and kind of like re-upping these classic colorways. Like, which one is your favorite? Like, which one are you rocking the most?
I think for me, it's the I wear this sort of dark green, very sort of country. Look. With some sort of cargo pants and some sort of kind of hiking boots. That's
country gentleman shit.
Yeah, dude. When I go back to my family's house in the countryside, often going for some walks in the middle of nowhere, sort of getting away from the craziness of F1. I kind of like that country look, proper British heritage. I think when you think of, a classic, almost maybe stereotypical British person that probably the Americans would think of, they'd probably be dressed in Belstaff. So that's kind of a look I go for already.
Yeah.
It's the platonic ideal of the English country gentry, I respect it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's played such a role in motorsports, and especially like British motorsports for so long. And like to see you rocking it in like a modern way. I mean, it's pretty, Lawrence and I do it this like, and guys of our ilk do the same shit, right? Where it's kind of like tapping into heritage, but updating it into your modern style. I mean, is this something that like F1 drivers are doing when it comes to fashion, like tapping back into their heritage, whether it's like their home country or where their team is based, just in terms of like personal fashion?
Yeah, well, I think everyone's
we saw like Toto Wolff. He was rocking the lederhosen, like maybe not that extreme, I don't know if it was Oktoberfest or if he was off the the brewskis, but hey,
I think it's good. I kind of like seeing these looks. It's adding a bit more of this personality into it, and I think I do think sort of Drive to Survive has helped this quite a lot because. For us, it's also been quite difficult with like the press. We're always quite scrutinized, and the press are all trying to get some good headlines to get the views, which is kind of normal. But it's when we're in the heat of the moment after a race, you've always got to be a little bit cautious of the words you use to not be sort of taken out of context. But
absolutely.
Now in like the fashion side of things, you're going in, you're showing a bit more of its personality, along with Drive to Survive, showing a different angle. And that's something I'm quite enjoying really, because I feel prior to this, it was difficult for drivers to get their sort of personalities across and to be kind of relatable. But, if you're walking in with a Belstaff jacket and someone at home's, got a Belstaff jacket, you feel kind of connected in a way. So, I kind of like that.
Well, how Daniel Ricciardo, he got he had a bet where somebody had to get a tattoo if he like won the race.
Yeah,
maybe you should do that with Toto, where like when you get that P1, he's got to rock the lederhosen at the next race.
Yeah, for real.
Think you would do it?
I think I was thinking, tattoo. Why not? I think he would wear that with pride. So it's not really much of a challenge for him. I'll have a think. Yeah, tattoos maybe pushing it a little bit.
Yeah. But what about if you just made him wear like the German lederhosen, like the little short shorts and suspenders, in the paddock? Just a thought. Just a thought.
Speaking of
do you think that you could, speaking of challenges, do you think that you could, with zero preparation, zero warm up, do you think you could make your way over to NASCAR and just P1 in a race tomorrow? Because like these guys are just making left turns. You know what I mean? Like they're listening to podcasts in their car. I don't know what they're doing.
No, those guys are pros at what they do. It's I feel like driving, it's one of these things that, the majority of people drive a car. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of relatable in a way, but nobody really drives a car fast. Or like people will drive a car fast, like they accelerate fast and whoa, that was exciting. But nobody really pushes the limits and as they shouldn't, you shouldn't be driving.
To be clear, don't do that.
Definitely don't do that. But everyone thinks, oh well, I drove a car to the supermarket. It's driving is easy. I can do that. Whereas if you play football, you can watch a footballer or soccer player.
Thank you for respecting our culture, George.
You can play soccer and you realize you can't do what Ronaldo does.
Right.
So but you never really have that with racing. So it's I don't know how, looking forward, how we can make it people kind of maybe appreciate the challenges, even like the physical demands. But for sure, NASCAR, I think those guys are pros at what they do. But I'd give it a go. Steering wheel was a bit for me. It's like a steering wheel.
So to set the record straight, F1 drivers do respect NASCAR drivers.
George Russell respects NASCAR
George
drivers.
Russell, okay. To be clear, we don't know about the other guys, but George does. All right.
I mean, the physical demand, I think, is crazy. Like, you guys lose like kilos of water weight, right? When you're in the car, like after a race.
Yeah. It was. I mean, for me, I had a race in France. It was really hot. The team also, you try and make the car as streamlined as possible, which also comes at the expense of sort of cooling, so it sort of heats the driver up even more. I mean, I lost 4 kilos in this race, so I don't know what that is in pounds.
It's like 8 pounds, 10 pounds.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I want to get on that diet ASAP, dude. But
that's in 1.5 hours. It's and you're getting out of. I think it's not just a physical demand, but it's like that mental challenge as well. You're trying to drive as fast as you can. You're trying to manage your tires. You're looking after the engine, the brakes, and you're trying to think about a strategy. Is it going to be a 1 pit stop, 2 pit stops? Drivers around you, are they quicker, slower? Where are they going to attack you, or where do you need to defend? Then the physical demand on top of that, and the heat. We're racing with our fireproof underwear, with the race suit on, balaclava, helmet, gloves, boots, and then you're inside the cockpit, which is already at 50 degrees because you have all these electronical boxes around your seats, because that's like the most efficient place to put it for the engineers. So, it's not meant to be nice and comfy and cozy.
Yeah, you're in a spaceship.
Yeah, for real, dude.
It's meant to be as
some Top Gun shit.
Yeah,
is that more incentive to hit a podium so that you can get fucking sprayed with champagne and cooled down?
It stings. I don't know if you noticed, but recently I've whenever we go to spray with champagne, I kind of like walk away from the other drivers a little bit. I don't want to get hit. And
that's a good problem, though. The fact that you're podiuming so often that you're like developing strategy around champagne. Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
Maybe I need to get like
hashtag blessed.
Personal sunglasses sponsored.
For real.
George, what car are you whipping off the track just in your day to day?
I've got a G-Wagon at the moment. So, I like it. I used to have a Mercedes GTR, which obviously 2-seater, fast. Right. It was every time I'd pull up to some traffic lights, you'd always have a guy next to me trying to race me off the line.
Sir. You don't want to do this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I do this for a living. This is George Russell you're speaking to.
it got to a point where I was like, I can't be having this. I need to change it up a bit. So, my G-Wagon's a bit of a cruiser, and I kind of like being sat up high a little bit. I've got the thrill of speed racing, in Formula One. So I kind of don't really need that off the track.
Yeah, you get that out of your system on the weekends,
Yeah, it's like a chef doesn't want to come home and cook,
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Do you ever get frustrated?
You have a dream car, George?
Do you ever get frustrated in traffic? Like, you're like, why can't people just drive as good as me?
I do. I mean, I do get quite frustrated on the road sometimes. There are some interesting techniques out there, but I appreciate it's not straightforward, and not everybody has the gift. So,
London traffic is a killer, bro.
It is. I don't know what New York's like, but I've never been.
It's equally bad. I would say for sure. You mentioned you're doing the G-Wagon now, and obviously you drive for a living, George, but do you have a dream car?
I mean, at the moment, I've got my eyes on Mercedes creating a hypercar called Mercedes Project One.
Okay.
Which is, it's got a Formula One engine in it, only 275 being made. So that's kind of what I've got my eyes on. So but I'd really love like a historic classical car. There's these Mercedes from sort of the 50s, 60s, 70s, super classy, really kind of iconic. And I just love to get one of those, maybe roof down, driving, along the coast or something.
No Bluetooth though.
Yeah.
They don't have Bluetooth. We don't have even AUX cord or whatever. But I don't know. That's kind of, I'd love one day to have, one of those cars.
All right.
Drop the top, tighten the bell staff, and have yourself a fucking day for sure.
Absolutely.
To revisit the question I asked. So if Lawrence and I were driving the hypercar and you're in a Mercedes 1952 beater, do you think you could still lap us a few times around the track?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a bit of a challenge. That'd be a bit of a challenge. But I'd definitely do my best. I don't know what your driving skills are like.
Not great.
Yeah, not as good as yours. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, Lawrence can't drive, and I grew up driving in New York City, so I top out at like 35 miles an hour.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I'd hope I'd lap you at least once.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the first car you ever owned?
The first car I actually had was when I was 17. It had 60 horsepower. Was a Polo, VW Polo.
Okay.
So it was
A glorified golf cart.
Yeah, it was like a lawnmower.
It was. It wasn't the fastest thing in the world, but it got me from A to B, and that was before I joined Mercedes.
Yeah.
So the year after, I got upgraded to Mercedes. So I was
Like, this car sucks. I need to join Mercedes.
Yeah. You got to take what you can get at a certain point. No, I get that for sure.
Absolutely.
We talked about the physical demand of the sport, and F1 drivers are fucking jacked, and like you're constantly on the grind. Like we see you training in the gym, getting on the bike. Everything's to up the racing. What do you do when you're off the clock? Like, what does George Russell like to do when he's not, in the gym getting his fucking
talking to you guys?
Yikes, dude! You might need to aim a little bit higher. I'm not sure if this is the best use of your time, Mr. Saturday. You need to find another way to unwind, bro.
It's now. I mean, we keep busy between the races. It's they come thick and fast, and we're back in the factory on the simulator. We don't get to drive the Formula One car between the races.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't really appreciate or comprehend that. If you're a soccer player or you're an NFL player or whatever, you're playing that sport every single day. And if you'll have a couple of days off or you'll have a holiday here or there, probably the longest that Tom Brady hasn't thrown a ball for is a week if he wasn't injured, probably no more than a week. Whereas for us, we have 3 months off over Christmas, and we have a 3-week break in the middle, and we only get to drive 3 days a week effectively of us just when we're racing. So we use like the simulator kind of like a pretty fancy PlayStation almost. Bit more
PlayStation 6.
It's a little
what
bit
about what about during those breaks? Like, what's the fit that you're wearing when you're just chilling on the couch, munching crisps and watching the Wolves lose? How'd you get it?
I'm to be honest, most of the time I'm just in my pants. So I'm in my pants. I've got a nice blanket on top of me. So
nice. What about date night? When you have a night off and you're out with the missus, like what's the right fit for to show up right on date night?
Yeah, for the young men, listening at home, what's George's advice?
There's always got to be a shirt, hasn't it? Always. I think if you're wearing a shirt, you can kind of rock any trousers, or you can go smart, you can go casual, but the shirt is always, I think that's a minimum.
Okay, I like that.
What's your ideal date night? Is it like just chilling inside with a movie? Are you going out to a restaurant? Like,
I don't really know, to be honest. I kind of like my time at home. To be honest, it's
you earned it, man.
Yeah, so it's sort of so chaotic. If you're traveling, and you just kind of want to. I don't get to spend much time in my own living room or in my own bed, and I appreciate those moments. I love those moments. So.
You got to value it.
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
I'd be honest. How much influence does Carmen have on your wardrobe?
Yeah.
she has all the influence.
Oh, okay.
She's the whole influence. So
the whole you being like, I like to dress smart, casual, classic British. That's your girlfriend. Like that's all.
You always, whenever I put something on, you always kind of look at her for a bit of approval, and you can tell she's even said something. She's like, okay, I'll change. I'll put something else on.
Is she a Belstaff fan as well?
Yeah, I don't know if I think we posted a few photos together earlier we was both rocking a kind of exact same Bellstar Trailmaster.
His and hers, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, slightly different color tone. So
again, you guys look great. Straight out of a Bellstaff catalog. You guys are doing them justice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
George, I want to ask 2 quick hypotheticals before we get you out of here. We know that your time is literally money. Your house is on fire. Okay. Your family's safe. Everyone's safe. Everyone's good. Do you have any pets?
We used to, no longer.
Okay. Sorry about that, bro. But everyone's good.
Condolences. Yeah.
What's the one possession that you're going to run in and save?
Well, funny you say this. I've actually had a house fire. Crazy story, and it's kind of a number. I'll tell you the story because it's quite unique, and it is unbelievable. So we moved into this house, and we moved in during winter. It was in December or something. And by this time, it was now April. It was a really, really hot, sunny day. And my mother had a magnifying glass mirror, one of these mirrors that you look up close, magnifying mirror that she had on her dressing table in the window. And the sunlight beaming through the window reflected off the mirror onto the curtain. The curtain has then set fire, which has then set fire to her dressing table, which had hairspray and all of the God knows what sprays on.
Right. Aerosols,
Aerosol. And it's gone boom. The whole thing has exploded. And we had a fire. So that was, and I was in the room directly above where it exploded. And the stupid part of me is when I walked upstairs before, I kind of smelt some fire. But when you don't think your house is on fire when you
like maybe I'm having a stroke. I'm smelling some.
I don't know. Like someone's outside. It's someone's having a bonfire, whatever. And literally 5 minutes later, the whole thing has exploded. And so, to be honest, I just ran out of there. I grabbed nothing. I was crapping myself. So it was didn't know what was going on.
So if you had a second go, what is the one thing that you are saving? We're getting sentimental here.
That's a good one. Probably one of my helmets.
Oh yeah.
One that's whatever the most. I'm trying to think what the most meaningful. Probably the helmet I won Formula 2 championship in, because now in Formula 1 we have quite a lot of helmets. They go to sponsors, they go to the team. So I've got quite a few of the same helmet. But when you race in these junior forms, you got one for the season, and that is that season for me was so meaningful because it got me that chance in Formula 1. So,
well, Formula 2 has to up their helmet budget. Clearly, how bad does that smell, dude? How bad does that helmet stink?
Yeah, we only used to have like one race suit as well, so they used to have 2 races on a weekend, and if obviously you're sweating and everything, it's on the podium. You get drenched in champagne. You're racing the next day in a sweaty, champagne-smelled suit. So that's part of a junior days.
Yeah,
Lawrence and I have had
that fraternity basement, man.
Yeah, Lawrence and I have had that smell emanating from us after Saturday, Sunday, but not from a race suit. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
After that fire, were you like in the house chilling in like your fireproof underwear, like in the suit, just to be safe?
I've genuinely thought about this. Like, I could just get my fireproofs on, and if you're in that position. But it was, I don't know. It's like it was a scary moment. You always,
your house exploded. Yeah, it's very scary.
It fully exploded. The whole window flew out, and it landed.
Oh my God, dude!
My dad's car, and the car was destroyed. It was.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was serious. All from a mirror.
Yeah, right.
It was the first. We've been living there during the winter, and it's the first sunny day of the year. So it was.
Vanity is a sin. Everyone at home, watch out for those mirrors, dude.
That famous British sun.
Yeah.
George, you mentioned how I'm sure that you must stick to a crazy strict diet, because everything is geared toward just like that podium. What would your last meal on earth be if you could finally indulge yourself a little bit? What would it be?
I think
we hit Mackey's.
A nice juicy burger, to be honest.
Yeah,
proper burger, bit of bacon and cheese, and
throwing cholesterol to the wind at that point.
Yeah, it's I like I reach out sometimes and have a little cheat meal here and there, and I tap into a little burger. So that'd be my go-to.
Hell
Respect.
Yeah, dude. George, before we get you out of here, you're obviously having like your best season ever. 2022 racing for Mercedes. Lawrence and I, we're fans of not just the sport, but you. We would love to offer up some constructive criticism, take it or leave it. Highly suggest you take it, because I think that as good as you're doing now, you could probably do even better if you were to take this advice. Right. I'll go first. We're going to mail you a Throwing Fits bumper sticker. Slap that bad boy on old number 63 so that every time you overtake someone, these motherfuckers know that you were the first F1 driver on the only podcast that matters.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. It would add a little bit of weight. It would add a little bit of weight, but I think it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh, 100%. And then, for trying to get to Austin for the US Grand Prix, if we make it, can you promise that James and I can take a very cool picture with the car, like a little rap squat in front? We'll throw that on Instagram, send you some American fandom, a little bit of juice. just want to put it out there. I want to manifest a little bit.
As long as you tag me in it, I'm
done.
I'm all happy.
You can bet your ass you're getting tagged. That's the flex. A big triumvirate fit pick for sure.
Bring the bumper sticker.
Say less.
George, is there anything you want to plug before we get you out of here?
Anything I want to what? Sorry.
Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Anything I want to promote? What should I? I've never been asked this before.
Really? You're a professional athlete. What are you talking about? All you do is promote.
I feel like you guys in America, when I watch like IndyCar and NASCAR, it's so different to Formula One. The IndyCar drivers are. Now I want to thank my Honda team with the Firestone Reds, and the Petronas fuel was so fast today. And I feel like I need to do this. Maybe I feel like I need to bring this to Formula One.
Absolutely.
And NASCAR, they're thanking Jesus off top typically too.
I need to thank my Mercedes crew. And, stuff.
There he is.
My family, and the 63 car was fast today. So
George, thank you for coming on to the only podcast that matters.
Appreciate it.
Chef, take us out.